So, I was driving home from work one morning, and on the radio they said, Roseanne is coming back. And I was like, that's fucking awesome. I love that show. And they said, she's going to be playing a Trump supporter. And I went, that's going to be awesome. Fucking love that show. That's great. I was so happy. And then I lost my ability to watch TV and movies. And then I just didn't really care about watching TV and movies. And then I got involved into all manner of stuff. And months went by, and many an episode was shown. And I didn't see it. And one day, I was looking for material. And I came across a video of Ben Shapiro talking about Roseanne. And I was like, it's odd that Ben Shapiro, why the fuck is he talking about? I'm like, I wonder if Ben's a Roseanne fan. I'm like, man, if Ben's a Roseanne fan, that might be his ticket back into my good graces. But he's not a Roseanne fan. I can't even really say that. I don't know if he's a fan of hers or not. But he was going on like the show was going to be the fucking downfall of America. And I'm like, what? And he's talking about it's, you know, it's not a conservative show. They're, you know, economically conservative. They're not socially, they don't share your values. And I'm like, it's a TV show. It's fucking Roseanne. Like, the point of the show is they're a family that's modeled to not really follow the example of. Like, I mean, I will say that I you know, I loved the old show because I thought it normalized a lot of things that just needed to be normalized. People being people, you know, like, I think it's okay for people to be gay. I think we cannot be against that. I think I'm fine with that. I think everybody else should kind of be fine with that. I don't think it's a problem. I don't think it's ever really been a problem. I think the people that think it's a problem are the ones that made it a problem. You know what I mean? I kind of think that about people, even the transgendered and whatnot. As long as they're willing to accept reality and accept their place in it, they put themselves where they wish. Right? So, you know what I mean? It is what it is. I think everybody should be allowed to do whatever the fuck they want to do. As long as they're not hurting anybody else. Feel free. And that's always kind of been that show. And I don't think I really developed that from watching the show. I think the show did a lot to normalize homosexuality. Because it showed that homosexuals are people. And they live people's lives. And we can laugh at the differences. Because so often the differences are funny. If you have a good enough sense of humor. You know what I mean? Like, I thought it did a great... I thought it was like the Chappelle Show. There's so many TV shows that I watch them and everybody goes, well, they're normalizing this and normalizing that. And I'm like, because it's normal. Because it's not that fucking unusual that people might be different from time to time. And I think we can be accepting of that and not have to take part in it if we don't want to. So, I loved the show for that. I thought it was great. It was very funny. I liked the blue collar aspect of it. The show about a family that's not doing so fantastic. They're very rare. They come around every once in a while. And usually when they do, they're very good. Because it's basic human shit. You know what I mean? It's one thing to watch the Huxtables, you know, in their nice place. And it seems like they never worry about money. And that's fantastic. And that can be funny too. Because it's more of a character drama than that. But I think it's even more of a character drama when you have those external, pressures. And it's shit that everybody deals with. Even people that aren't like them. They still deal with problems with money. Everybody fucking does. You have to be very wealthy to be so out of touch, to fucking not understand that shit. So, I think everybody can kind of understand that. And people know unusual people in their lives. And they can see them laughing along with the unusual people, and everybody's learning lessons. It's a fucking sitcom, man. Like, so, the first episode, right, it was funny. Ben talked about how it shows the economic differences, blah, blah, blah. They were trading pills and shit like that. And sure enough, Roseanne's a Trump supporter, and Jackie is not. Jackie walks in with a fucking pink pussy hat and a nasty woman t-shirt, and I about pissed myself, man. I was howling. It was so goddamn funny. And they went back and forth. It was great. It was man, it was like watching the show again. 20 years later, I'm watching Roseanne like, this is cool. I watched the interview with them and Kimmel. And Kimmel was like, what was it like to walk back on that set again after 20 years? And they were both just like, it was Roseanne and John Goodman. And they were both like, it was like we'd never walked off of it. It was just, slipped right into it again. And it was cool because I got that from watching the show. 20 years later, I'm fucking watching Roseanne. It was awesome. Because I've seriously watched every episode of that show probably 4 or 5 times. Because I love that show. I watched it from the first episode that aired to the last episode that aired. Every week, every season, every year. I loved that show. It was one of the very few shows that I was like that with. Very few shows that I was like that with. But yeah, watched every single one of them. And then I've seen them again multiple times. Love that show. They have fucking marathons of it on TBS. It's just Roseanne after Roseanne after Roseanne. And I fucking used to sit and watch it all day. I just have it on in the background and I was doing other shit and just watching Roseanne. And I love that show. And it really isn't any different. I really don't see it as being any different. I think it's exactly the same as it used to be. I think she's taken all the different sides and she's throwing it into the mix and she's letting the characters act it out. And I don't think any of it's been unreasonable. Yeah, the kid's kind of a cross-dresser. But, he gets picked on at school for it. And he trudges on anyways because that's him and that's what he wants to be. And I think that's a good lesson. I think that there's a certain element to self-awareness that I just find to be amazing. She asked him, are you a boy or a girl? And he goes, I'm a boy. And I was like, alright, fair enough. And she's like, what's with clothes? And he's like, I like colors that pop. And I was like, alright, fair enough. And she's like, you're gonna get your ass beat. And he's like, happens. But I'm gonna be me. And that's just that. And I'm like, so he's just accepting the role of the outcast. A lot of kids do that. In my day, it was fucking flannels and just nasty hair, nasty long hair. And then there was the one kid that dressed in all black leather. Like literally black leather pants, black leather coat, white t-shirt. He was doing the whole fucking like Euro punk, look, like that was his thing. And he got shit for it. But he also wore shit-kicking boots. And he earned them. He'd stomp your fucking ass for picking on him. He was a big dude. And he liked Europunk. And that was fine with me. He introduced me to KMFDM. I love that dude still to this day because he introduced me to KMFDM. It's fucking such a great band. Fucking KMFDM. And he introduced me to them because I had occasion to talk to him one day in class. Like we were working on a project or something like that. We got teamed up. And I was like, alright, fine. And I'm working with this dude and I'm like, well, dude, what is with the leather? And he's like, I like Europunk. And I'm like, is that Europunk? It's just all fucking head to toe leather? And he's like, yeah, and we like good music. And I'm like, I like music. He's like, you ever heard of KMFDM? He's like, no, never before. He's like, you should listen to KMFDM. And I listen to KMFDM. I love that dude. He was a fine person. I spoke to him, and he was a fine person. But he was one of those kids that it was, I'm going to do what I want to do. I don't give a shit. And that's the way it was in my day. Nowadays, it's wearing a dress. You know? And Ben was like, and Jan just accepts it. Like Dan is supposed to be the pillar of rationality and reason. Well, I mean, I guess he is the man. But, you know. And Dan doesn't really accept it. He accepts the kid's strength to say, I understand that I'm gonna take an ass whooping for this, but this is me. This is who I am, and I'm gonna not live a lie. And I was like, well, fucking A, man, do your thing. And it's not like he was pushing it on anybody. You know what I mean? He wasn't asking for anything special. He was just asking to be accepted. Just asking to be played with at recess. That's all he fucking wanted. He wanted to make friends. And that's a fantastic message. It's not like they were trying to force anybody to do anything. You know? I liked that. Apparently I didn't pick up on that. But whatever. I don't know, man. I think it's a good show. I like it. It's... It was exactly what I expected it to be, man. They addressed everything. They like she's done so many times in that TV show, they've just flown right back into it, and they've laughed about the inconsistencies and moved on. And I thought it was fantastic. I like Becky's character. Man, that's awesome. I didn't know that the guy that played Mark actually died. I was like, man, they wrote him out and said he died. That sucks. Apparently they didn't want to bring him back or something. I'm like, well, I wonder what happened with him. He actually died. And they actually, like, wrote the timeline of that into the show. They actually acted like... I mean, that's the one thing that I think is amazing about the show. It doesn't... When things outside of the show changes with the things outside of the show. So they wrote it in as if, well, what happened if Mark died 4 or 5 years after we stopped making the show, which is pretty much what happened. He died 4 or 5 years after making the show. And they actually seem to have written the characters to have reacted to that. And I thought it was fantastic. The writing on that show has always been amazing, and they have kept it up 10 fucking years straight, and it's still just as good. It's an amazing... They take into consideration that it's been 20 years. Everybody's had lives, and now you're picking right back up where you know, where they were. They're not pretending to pick up where they left off. Shit's different. People have had things happen to them, and I think it's cool. You know, like Darlene's kids are kind of like Darlene and David. The girl is exactly like Darlene, and the boy is a lot like David. So. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's as bad as Ben is making it out to be. Maybe it was because Ben had seen like 2 or 3 episodes and fucking went off on what he'd seen. I've seen like 5 or 6 now. So, I don't know. And maybe Ben just doesn't know the show is... Maybe Ben, as an outside observer writing columns about the show... didn't really understand the show quite like a person who'd actually watched it every week and looked forward to seeing it every fucking week. Maybe it wasn't that for him. I don't know. But I think that people that have never seen it before, I think they're gonna enjoy it because hopefully they'll get it. But at the very least, it's something you can relate to. It's always been funny. And for people that used to watch it and really love the show, man, if it ruins it for you, I don't understand that. I don't quite get that. I was really worried about watching it. It was actually quite stressful for me to, like, after a point I was like, I don't even know if I want to fucking watch it. Because, like, I don't want to watch the new Star Wars. For exactly this reason. I don't want to watch the new Star Wars because I know what happens in the movie. And it will just, it'll break my heart. I can't do it. I can't do it. There's no way I can watch it. I can't watch it go down like that. If it's half what people say it is, I can't. And I've watched multiple people talk about it, and I've looked for people that I've never watched any other video of theirs before that reviewed it. And I can't do it. I can't watch it. I can't take it. So, and I was thinking about that with this because I'm like, man, if it's bad, but I don't think it's bad. I really don't, and I don't think it's wishful thinking. I think it's a good show. I think it's, I don't know. I've seen enough of those shows. I think I know where she's gonna go with a lot of stuff. I know those characters pretty fucking well, and I understand what's gonna happen. I think I think I can tell where things are gonna go. I think it's gonna be interesting to watch. I think the new generation that's gonna grow up with this show is gonna be in for a wild ride, and this could be a big part in course correcting. You never can tell. I don't know. At the very least, I think it's gonna be fun. I hope they carry it on for another fucking 10 seasons. I absolutely love that show. I think it's good stuff. I don't know. Call me crazy. I just didn't see the monster in it that Ben did. I thought it was pretty cool.